Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I certainly do thank you for tuning in. And this one's going to be vertical, not horizontal, okay? That certainly was from the last vid. Okay, YouTube, that's how you want to do it? Okay, no worries. I can certainly go ahead and, change up. All good. Now, I certainly hope that peace and blessings have been upon you and your family this day. We are definitely going to get right back into the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. And we are now in take 67. And it goes like this. The first meeting was held in New York City in 1909. To address a renewal of the struggle for civil and political liberty. Several blacks were invited, and Du Bois was one of the 8 who attended from the Niagara Movement Committee. Du Bois was eventually appointed as director of publicity and research and edited their publication called Crisis. The first NAACP organized to stand for the rights of men, irrespective of color or race, for the highest ideals of American democracy, and for a reasonable but earnest and persistent attempt to gain these rights and realize these ideas. By 1921, the NAACP had more than 400 branches and was integrated. A white male still headed the NAACP. Up until the early 1940s. Du Bois wrote several books about Negroes and many papers on the status of the race as a whole. He worked diligently for the goals of the NAACP, taught at various universities, and continued protesting against ill treatment of Negroes and continued to negotiate politically for the rights of black men to vote. He had mild success in achieving his aims, later immigrating to Africa in 1961 to work with a publishing firm. He left America frustrated and disappointed that he had not been able to sway all Negroes to his talented 10th ideal for advancement. He was equally despaired about his inability to force the American government to give Negroes the same social and civil rights that whites enjoyed naturally. The conclusion. Du Bois was representative of today's bougie class of blacks who still believe that only a certain segment of intelligent African Americans are qualified to lead or remedy the black condition. Most of those in Du Bois' talented 10th representation were light-skinned with straight hair and, like himself, appeared to come from mixed heritage containing precious Caucasian blood. He believed in social integration, justifiable by media support, philanthropy, and federal subsidy gains he sought through political means. He was a Christian. He was not as much concerned with economic gain through self-help as he was with securing voting rights, judicial protection, and equal representation in the annals of the government. He was very proud of his French, Dutch ancestry and his unusual exotic-sounding last name. His only concern for black pride was his insistence that the black male ego enjoy the satisfaction of full acceptance in the category of respect and recognition of his ability to excel academically. He felt that the everyday working Negro was primitive and unsophisticated, and unqualified to compete with whites in the classroom or boardroom. Du Bois' loud public disagreement with the ideas of Booker T. Washington set the stage for justification of other Negroes to organize to defeat any black who they did not completely agree with in principle and cause. This kind of squabbling produced political disharmony, physical fighting, and wasted energy on trying to wreck the progress of other black men leaders. Du Bois' ideas of creating separate factions inside a group already separated upheld the emotions of jealousy, envy, and rivalry among black men that still exist today. Obtaining the glorified, overrated right to vote has proved to be ineffectual towards improving the quality of life for blacks in America or elsewhere. Du Bois himself recognized the futility of struggling against the white rule in America and decided to seek citizenship elsewhere. Thus, he migrated to Africa and became a communist. Plans to erect a statue in his hometown of Barrington, Massachusetts, were initially rejected because of his affiliation with the Communist Party. Du Bois' ideas represented the foundation of ideas that give the Democratic Party such attraction for blacks, because he stood for social rather than economic advancement. And he fostered class distinction among Negroes. Next is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, 1897 to 1975. In 1933, Elijah Muhammad, formerly Elijah Poole, announced that he had been taught a new religion called Islam, which had a plan for the ultimate salvation of the Negro. He described his teacher as Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, Allah, God in person, and said that he had been divinely commissioned by Allah to help Negroes secure freedom, justice, equality, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. Muhammad started small, but quickly and progressively expanded his new religious teachings from border to border. He called the Negroes Muslims and taught them that all black people are Muslims. Some of them just don't know it. He established mosque, in parentheses, temples of Islam, and taught his followers a new black history, respect for the family unit, identified whites as a race of devils, and told them that their God, Allah, was black. Mr. Muhammad organized schools for children of his followers and separated the boys from the girls during their early years of education. He directed the Muslims in opening their own businesses, how to pool their resources, and build and operate decent institutions of their own. Muslims participated in weekly services and daily prayers, lived under strict behavioral codes, were required to abstain from eating pork in any form. Muslim men attended weekly manhood training meetings called the Fruit of Islam, in parentheses, FOI, which also provided military training. Mr. Muhammad, the Messenger of Allah, forbade his members to carry weapons, not even a penknife. He told them to fight only if aggressed, and to obey those in authority over you, as long as it does not conflict with the practice of your religion. He cleaned black men up and salvaged and repaired many damaged personalities among them. He used Islam to mold them into neat, obedient, upright, loyal workers and brothers. They wore royal blue uniforms with matching bow ties. The women, in parentheses, the sisters, were required to attend weekly homemaking skill classes and Sunday or weekday services. They dressed in long dresses, usually white, with a headpiece covering similar to those of nuns. The sisters section was called the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class, in parentheses, MGT and GCC. They were taught cooking, sewing, child rearing, how to take care of their husbands, and how to act at home and abroad. Muslim sisters were a very respected group because it was well known that the FOI did not allow anyone to disrespect a member of the MGT and GCC. And I'm going to end this take right here for take 67. We're going to pick up on take 68 to continue on reading in regards to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm looking. We possibly might finish the next take of that in our next take. Interesting. I was looking to see if after the take if there was like a conclusion, but for Mr. Muhammad, there's not a conclusion. To be continued on the conclusion. But our next one is going to be Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He does have a section in a conclusion. But yeah, I was just doing a little you preview, look ahead, look ahead in the book. But interesting. But on that note, I want you certainly to be blessed. Have a wonderful evening. I will be speaking with you soon to finish up Elijah Muhammad here on Poem Praise 2. Until then, I will talk with you soon. And be blessed. Peace, y'all. Later.